take usually your lunch?
I take usually around 2 p.m.
2 p.m. So it is time, right time, lunch time. You are missing your lunch?
No, sir.
No. Not tense also?
Not tense.
Okay, there is a, you might have heard, lot of changes going on in India. They changed the names of so many courts, statutes like IPC, CRPC, all these things.
Yes.
Are you aware of it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So do you subscribe to the view that the constitution should also be changed?
I do not subscribe to the view that constitution should be changed completely, because there is a procedure for amendment in the constitution, and the landmark case of Keshwanand Bharti basically gave the basic structure doctrine, which basically says that there are certain fundamental principles in the constitution which is for all times to come, and those principles have been applied to the society based upon the changing needs of the society. And the constitution have already been amended almost 106 times so far. So amendment serves that purpose. And I also believe that constitutionally it would be impossible for a body which is constituted under the constitution to change the constitution itself.
But they could change the IPC, CRPC, Evidence Act, and they can also change the constitution if they have the majority.
They have there is a difference between constitution, which is a fundamental law of the land, and laws passed by the parliament. So parliament itself is a creature of the constitution.
Yeah.
So it can only amend, alter, or add provisions into the constitution without violating the basic structure. But the ordinary laws of the land can be changed by the.
What are the basic structure of the constitution? Where can we find?
There is no mention of the term basic structure in the constitution, but basic structure is basically, I would like to put it this way, that it's diffused throughout the constitution. These are principles such as secularism, federalism.
Basically, you find it in the preamble of the
Constitution.
Yes, preamble.
That constitutes the basic structure.
Yes.
Okay, do you say that law is equal to justice?
Not. No. Actually, no.
No.
No. Justice is a principle of fairness, of equity, and but law can be just, or it can be unjust as well.
Give me an example.
So during the Weimar Republic, the Nazi party headed by Hitler passed several laws disenfranchising the Jews, and they were held as laws under their system, but they weren't necessarily just, because they were inherently inhuman and something that was against basic tenets of a civilized society.
What is judicial law?
Sir, under certain circumstances where judiciary sees there is a vacuum, so judiciary plays an active role and prescribes the law. Under our constitution, Article 141 basically says that the any decision of the Supreme Court is applicable throughout the country. In that way,
Will have the
force of law throughout the country. But ever since Menka Gandhi judgment, the judiciary has played an active role where it has formulated laws. May I give an example, sir? For instance, in the case of MC Mehta, where Supreme Court saw that we did not had enough legislations on environment in the country, so Supreme Court went ahead and laid down laws that the to ensure protection of the environment, especially air pollution, and the law was supposed to be valid till the parliament makes a law. So when parliament made a law, that superseded the
Let us,
judgment.
let us know from you.
Yes, sir.
Very often we have been hearing about the conflict between parliamentary sovereignty and judicial supremacy.
Yes, sir.
In your view, how it can be balanced?
I think the constitution is the supreme law of the land. We have division of powers, but there is certain fusion of powers as well, such as in the where Parliament. Can I reformulate my answer, sir? Yes, yes. So, according to me, Parliament basically the basic purpose of Parliament is to legislate the law, whereas judiciary adjudicates the law.
Means, it says whether it is in consonance with
The constitution, yes, yes. So the it can be the conflict arises when Parliament passes a law and Supreme Court declares it as invalid and ultravies the Constitution. So the the solution would be to keep the Constitution in mind and to make laws that are in consonance with the constitutional principles.
But sometimes don't you feel the judiciary goes beyond its parameters? Because in India, what is the guiding principle of judiciary? There are
Yes.
two diverse views. One is principles of natural justice and another is procedure established by law.
Yes.
The Indian judiciary, what is the guiding principles of Indian judiciary between these two poles?
So certainly, judiciary overreaches sometimes, and it it actually goes beyond its
But my question
ambit.
was between these two, what is the guiding spirit of
Natural justice and
Procedure established by law.
okay. So as a the original constitution basically said procedure established by law under Article 14. But in the case of Menka Gandhi versus Union of India, the Supreme Court interpreted it as due process of law, where it can actually check whether the law is fair, just, and equitable. And today, with some recent judgment, it actually also sees whether the law is proportionate or not. So it has actually increased the ambit of how it scrutinizes a law. But I think the judiciary also need to moderate its stand while looking at the constitutionality of a law, because Parliament is like a nation in miniature. It represents the nation, and sometimes they are best served to understand the interests of the nation. And judiciary doesn't have the manpower or the special.
Let us say the example of reservation policy passed by Government of India. Reservation policy, Parliament has the ultimate authority to fix a certain percentage of reservation for certain kinds of people. So that may be as per the mandate of people, or that may be as per their commitment to people living in nations, so on. But when Supreme Court totally changes that thing,
Yes.
so it goes beyond the scope of parliamentary sovereignty.
Right.
So parliamentary sovereign to pass legislations,
Right.
it has to make laws for its own people.
Right.
So if they say that this is abrogated absolutely.
Right.
So in that case, don't you think the parliamentary sovereignty is sacrificed in the altar of judicial supremacy?
Sir, under certain circumstances, because of political compulsions, Parliament makes law that that actually violates tenets of the Constitution. it doesn't gather enough data to support the law. So under those circumstances, the Supreme Court is well within its power to basically see whether it follows the precedents and the law or not.
Okay, so you are the law graduate.
Yeah.
Why you have chosen your optional as political science and international relation?
So I was really interested with the thoughts of certain Western political thinkers as well as Indian political thinkers such as Gramsci, Ambedkar, and Gandhi, and I thought I'd be able to express it better and use those thoughts while I'm in civil service and working with the people. So that is how.
So what are the current international issues?
Currently, if we start in India's neighbor, Bangladesh is certainly an issue. The overthrow of the incumbent government is certainly an issue.
What was the issue?
In Bangladesh, the incumbent government headed by Sheikh Hasina was forced to move out of her nation, and an interim government was formed. This was the product of a student-led protest, and after
But why this protest?
this was on a decision taken by on a decision given by a high court in Bangladesh, but by increasing the quota for the
Children.
children's of the
Freedom fighters.
liberation 1971 liberation war freedom fighters, which actually led to the student protest.
What is the total percentage they are giving the reservation percentage?
They increased it to 30%, and the total percentage was almost 50%.
Increased to 30. What was earlier?
It was 5%.
To the freedom fighters?
Yes.
No. They are fighting, it's a total 56% of reservation.
Okay. So
30% to the freedom fighters, 5% and 5 women, and also
yes.
No,
656%.
yeah.
I'll read
30.
about the.
You should
That
also
is
go
the
through
correct, that is the point is reservation, but you just update yourself about the percentage.
Percentage.
Different
I'll
percentage.
definitely.
But
And-
as you have kept your subject international relation,
Right.
how do you look at the present scenario? How many neighbors are actually friendly to India now?
Sir, Bhutan is a time-tested friend, definitely, and Sri Lanka is a friend as well. And
Is Sri Lanka friendly to us now?
yes, India actually saved Sri Lanka from the brink of an economic disaster, and India shares good friendly relations with Sri Lanka. And the change of dispensation in Nepal is certainly an issue, but since Nepal is closer to us, the relation actually defies any and defies history. So we are working towards that as well. The new government that was sworn in Bangladesh it has also promised to work closer with India, and Afghanistan is actually we are engaging with the regime current dispensation in Afghanistan. Pakistan hasn't been there hasn't been any progress in relationship with Pakistan.
And our foreign policy
Yes.
towards Ukraine and Russia,
Yes.
did it yield any result, or we proved ourselves a failure there?
I see it differently, sir. Actually, India's policy of strategic autonomy allows it to basically look after its own national interest. India shares a closer relationship with Russia, and if I can point out some of them, in India's crude imports have increased manyfold and at a discounted price recently from Russia, and 50% of defense exports are from Russia. And Russia is an important continental power for India. And India
Not
also
even
wants to
really
improve
detained.
its relationship with
Russia.
Russia to basically to basically leverage its position vis-a-vis China. So in that scenario, it's difficult to overturn this relationship overnight. Though PM Modi has stated in the last previous SCO summit that this is not an era of war, making it clear that that the war benefits none. It is morally against the war, and India is a leader of the third world of global south will take active steps to basically be a mediator and a negotiator for peace between the both countries.
But under which act? Last question. Under which act your Kolkata case is now? The hearing is going on. RG
Sorry?
Kar.
Yes,
Under
sir.
which act?
What is?
Kolkata RG Karo case.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Under which act the case is going on in Supreme Court?
It's sir. The Supreme Court took up the case suo moto.
हाँ नहीं एक्ट क्या है एक्ट तो है ना कोई एक्ट के अंडर तो उसको किया जाएगा which act is that do you know Visakha guideline
Yes, the sexual harassment at workplace.
that
So
what which
Vishaka-
act that is
That is the POSH Act,
Ah, yes.
Prevention of Sexual Harassment
Yeah.
Act,
Act.
passed by the Parliament in
2013
2013.
very good POCSO
POSH 2012.
2012 very good Bangladesh so hope it is very nice Bangladesh issue ଗୋଟେ ହଉଛି ରିଜର୍ଭେସନ ଟା ସେମ୍
Yes,
এটা ତାଙ୍କ ପୁଅ ଆସିଥିଲା ପୁଣି ନାତିକୁ ଆସିଲା
yes,
ସେଥିପାଇଁ
yes.
ତା issue ଟା
Grandchildren.
grandchildren
Yes, yes.
ଆ percentage ଟା ନେଇକି 56 ଆଇ
Yes, no, I'll check.
Your
Yes, I'll take-
performance is fairly well.
Yes.
We hope you can easily pass over.